Alright guys, there's a boatload of new releases soon to drop. I'm talking about new fragrances that are launching very soon. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about them. There's 20 of them that I'm going to discuss with you today. So this might be a bit longer than normal video. So sit back, relax, and find out about some really great sounding new fragrances coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yesterday we're talking about new launches, new fragrance launches, new fragrances dropping soon. We've got designers and niche houses here, and pretty great sounding fragrances, I think. And I compiled a list of 20 fragrances, which I'm going to talk to you about today. I've got a bonus one also that I'm going to mention at the after the outro that I think kind of sounds interesting. It's not one of my favorite fragrances from that house, but they've done something new to the fragrance that exists, so they've got a flanker for it. But either way, let's go ahead and get started with the first fragrance. Going to the house of BDK, and they have a new fragrance called Vanille Leather. So I believe this is the first Dominique Ropion created fragrance for BDK, I believe. Only thing that really kind of makes me think cautiously about this release is the fact that Dominique Ropion already has Baby Cat, Vanagloria, Vanilla Barca, that are kind of vanilla and leather. So I'm wondering if this is going to go into that direction of smelling similar. But either way, I'm excited for this launch from BDK, featuring bourbon vanilla, leather, oak, violet, patchouli, benzoin, iris, tuberose, orange blossom, jasmine, and pink pepper. Has anyone gotten their nose on this one yet? Does it smell like Baby Cat or Vanagloria or Vanilla Barca? Do let me know. I just hope it doesn't smell like those fragrances, because I'm kind of tired of perfumers copying themselves and making fragrances similar to other fragrances. So moving on to the house of Fragrance du Bois, we've got a fragrance called Lovers. Don't know much about this one, except for the fact that I like the name and I like the sound of it. Featuring notes of ginger, cashmere wood, plums, passion fruit, jasmine, rose, saffron, patchouli, cedar, bergamot, sandalwood, and vetiver. We've got spices, we've got fruits, we've got flowers, and we've got woods. Sounds like a good one to me. How about you? Let me know. Put a comment down below so I can find out. So two fragrances from the house of Tiziana Terenzi. We've got ABBRIVIO and we've got DERIVA. These are from the Sea Stars collection with those beautiful bottles that have this really jewelry kind of like sea stars that are like planted on the caps of the Tiziana Terenzi fragrances. So both of them I'm excited to check out. Both of them, of course, are created by Paolo Terenzi. And the first fragrance, ABBRIVIO, is sandalwood, ambergris, tonka, patchouli, cedar, oak moss, musk, oak, seaweed, brown sugar, orange, strawberry, santolina, and black currant. Tiziana Terenzi fragrances seem to overwhelm with the different notes in it, which is kind of cool. I like that about it. And we'll see what this one is all about. And the second one, DERIVA, features notes of tobacco leaf, vanilla, tonka, sandalwood, geranium, rosewood, gardenia, pink pepper, patchouli, raspberry, bergamot, and lavender. So kind of a floral, aromatic, woody, amber, maybe a touch gourmand kind of fragrance here with these fragrances. So I don't know if you're a fan of these Sea Stars collection fragrances. Let me know. Put a comment down. I've got videos on the channel. In fact, interview with both Paolo and Tiziana Terenzi. And I'm looking forward to checking these out. Usually the fragrances from Tiziana Terenzi are, extrait de parfum. So they're really highly concentrated and they have great longevity. So always curious to see what kind of fragrances they release. So then we've got Montale's Oud Island. Montale, I'm always interested in looking at fragrances from Montale, and they do crank out a lot of oud fragrances. So is the oud trend kind of getting boring? By the way, over the weekend I shot a designer oud fragrances video. If you haven't caught that, please go catch that. But Oud Island features notes of vanilla, Nepal oud, labdanum, amber, musk, tobacco, sandalwood, tiar flower, black leather, tuberose, tangerine, bergamot, and lemon. Always curious to try some Montale fragrances. Although, as of late, Montale and Mancera seem to have kind of dipped with excitement and hype in the community. What are your thoughts about this? Do let me know. Put a comment down. I haven't really found something new from the houses, these two houses that are sister houses, that are too exciting for me as of late. But moving on to the house of ELECTIMUSS London, we've got AQUILA Absolute, created by Julien Rasquinet. It's raspberry, violet leaves, white oud, rose, geranium, cardamom, labdanum, leather, and patchouli. I've actually sampled this one, and I actually do like it. Definitely solid release from ELECTIMUSS London. This is probably the third fragrance now, back-to-back from Julien Rasquinet for ELECTIMUSS London. Started out with Vichy Leather, which I didn't care for. Then we had Gladiator Oud, which I really, really liked. And then now we've got AQUILA Absolute, which is also pleasantly, nice to wear. So I'm going to kind of circle back to this fragrance and, mention it in some videos that are coming up. Moving on to the house of Wilhelm Parfumerie, we've got Faces of Frances, created by Bertrand Duchaufour, who's a fan of this perfumer and who's a fan of this house. I thought for a long time that the fragrances from Wilhelm were all or most created by Jerome Epinay. Now we're seeing different perfumers create fragrances for Wilhelm. This fragrance features notes of aldehydes with oud, saffron, cypriol, ambergris, styrax, vetiver, pistachio, juniper, driftwood. Pistachio, you say? It's not really been the year of pistachio, by the way. But, I'm always curious to see what else comes out as far as pistachio goes in fragrances, and we'll see how Faces of Frances is from Wilhelm Parfumerie. But moving on to Laboratorio Olfativo with Pompelmo. I got to sample this during Aix-en-Provence, and I think it does not disappoint. For me, the collection of these green citrus fragrances, all created by Jean-Claude Elena, are pretty solid, with my favorite being the Mandarino, then followed by the Blood Orange one, and then I think this Pompelmo might be competing with the Blood Orange one. And this might actually even be better for me in comparison to the Blood Orange one. But this features notes of grapefruit, vetiver, pink pepper, mastic resin, and patchouli. And for me, I feel like these fragrances from Laboratorio Olfativo, created by Jean-Claude Elena, kind of, created similarly in that they have this kind of transparency about them of other fragrances that he's created for Hermès. If you're a fan of Jean-Claude Elena, you gotta check out these fragrances from Laboratorio Olfativo, and I believe it's called the Viaggio something or rather in Italy or something like that, because they're all Italian citrus-focused fragrances. So moving on to the house of Etat Libre d'Orange, we've got a fragrance called Clean Suede. This to me seems like it's a renaming of Tom of Finland. So could it be that the licensing has run out for Etat Libre d'Orange to use Tom of Finland for their fragrance? I'm a fan of Tom of Finland, the fragrance, and this sounds just like Tom of Finland. It's created by Antoine Lie, features notes of suede leather with ambergris, vanilla, birch leaf, pine, pepper, aldehydes, and lemon. For me also with this fragrance, if it is definitely a redo of Tom of Finland, I get gourmand qualities with this fragrance. I don't know why. There's some sweetness there to kind of caress the kind of suede leather in this fragrance, which I quite like. I do like Tom of Finland. I consider it definitely an easier leather to wear, but seems like they've renamed it Clean Suede, which kind of seems like a boring name for me. Something a little more exciting would have been better for the name, but perhaps it came up so quickly that they had to rename it. This is what came up with the name Clean Suede. Anyway, does anybody know about this? Can you confirm? Do let me know. Put a comment down below so I can find out. We've got a house called Bentley, a designer for sure, and I do enjoy some of their fragrances, but we've got something from their more exclusive lineup of fragrances called Magnetic Amber. This is created by Corinne Dubreuil-Sereni. She does a lot of great designer fragrances. I think there's fans of you out there. You guys message me all the time about her. She has she's created a fragrance called Magnetic Amber for Bentley, and it features notes of labdanum, cedar, tonka beans, and vanilla. Always curious to check out amber fragrances, and I do like her work. Definitely do enjoy her work. So let's see how this is, if it's going to be as popular as something like Bentley for Men Absolute or Bentley for Men Intense, something like that. We'll see. We'll see. I don't think this collection, though, the more exclusive collection, is as popular as their regular lineup of fragrances. But I'm very curious to try Magnetic Amber. But moving on to a house I've never spoken about on this channel. It's clean, and they have a fragrance called Beach Vibes. And I've been really enjoying beachy fragrances as of late, really enjoying fragrances that have that beachy vibe. And this one sounds pretty nice to me. What do you guys think? Are you a fan of clean fragrances? This does feature notes of ambergris, sandalwood, cedar, marine notes, sea salt, water lily, orange blossom, mandarin orange, pear blossom, and Bellini. Bellini, this is a note that I don't see quite often. This is a, kind of like a peach cocktail, I believe. So this sounds kind of fun. We'll see how it is, blending the fruitiness and the fizziness of the Bellini with the, floral notes and the sea notes and the salt and the marine notes and everything. Kind of sounds like a fun fragrance that I'm quite curious to check out. But moving on to the house of Mandarina Duck, the designer house of Mandarina Duck. Those of you that don't know Mandarina Duck, they release suitcases and bags and accessories of this kind, so they have great fragrances here and there, and they usually end up at the discounters, and they're really inexpensive. This set of two fragrances, it's called VIDA LOCA for him and VIDA LOCA for her. Both of them sound pretty nice. VIDA LOCA for him is created by Pierre-Constantin Guerreros along with Marine Eipert. That's her name, I think. And it features notes of vanilla with mint, tonka, vetiver, sage, lavender, coconut, geranium, pineapple, mandarin. Seems like a fruity, aromatic kind of a thing with sweetness there. I'm curious to try. I do like this house. They do kind of make fun and playful fragrances. Mandarina Duck Black and Mandarina Duck Black Intense, definitely still my favorite of the bunch. With the Black Intense was superior compared to the original that I loved. It's not as easy to find a Black Intense now, but it's such a great release. If you don't know that fragrance, check it out. It's a great tonka bean fragrance that does remind me of Uden from the House of Xerjoff. And then for sure, the feminine version of VIDA LOCA. It's VIDA LOCA for her, created by Alexandra Carlin. It seems like they've gone to perfumers at Simrise for these two fragrances. I should say Nathalie Lorson has created several fragrances for Mandarina Duck, especially Mandarina Duck Black and Black Intense. But this time with these two releases, they've gone with Simrise perfumers, it seems. And VIDA LOCA for her features notes of paradise with the word pear, vanilla, jasmine, mandarin, ambergris, mimosa, cedar, rose, and lemons. Both of them seem fun. I'm definitely curious to check out. These, as I said, end up at the discounters and are fairly inexpensive. I never see them at the Mandarina Duck boutiques when I'm in Italy because it's an Italian, designer, as I said. But always buy these fragrances from the discounters. So moving on to the house of Ex Nihilo, we've got Gold Immortals Extract or Extrait. So recently I've really been enjoying the fragrances of this house, and only negative about them is that they're really expensive. So 100 ml bottles over $300, so they need to do something with their price. But otherwise, everything is great. And unfortunately, this is an extract version of the original Gold Immortals, which means it's going to be even higher priced. It's created by Jordi Fernandez, and it features notes of tonka beans, peony, listland, amber, vanilla, bergamot, and pear. Great sounding fragrance. I'm definitely curious about this one, and I do enjoy Jordi Fernandez's fragrances, so this one definitely sounds great to me. I'll hopefully, now that ZGO Perfumery here in San Francisco carries Ex Nihilo, hopefully they'll bring the Gold Immortals Extrait in so that I can sample it and report back. But moving on to Gallivant. Gallivant has a new fragrance called Accra, A-C-C-R-A, created by Stephanie Bacouche. And this is a fragrance featuring notes of leather, carrot seeds, chili pepper, saffron, cedar, liatrix, styrax, musk, patchouli, vinyl, tobacco, cacao, coffee, cognac, davana, papaya, mango, passion fruit, eucalyptus. Throw everything in that mix. It sounds really nice. I'm curious to try it. I like the idea of Stephanie Bacouche's fragrances. I mean, I enjoy some of her fragrances, so I'm curious to try this. And I do enjoy Gallivant. It's a house inspired by not necessarily traveling, but when you've traveled to a location and you're gallivanting around a city or something that you've traveled to. So curious to try Accra. Moving on to the house of Mugler, they've got a new flanker. This is, I think, the third flanker for Alien Goddess, and this is Supra Floral. I don't know if this collection is all that hot or, you know, a very popular success for them, but since they're making the flankers, I'm assuming it is. I'm assuming also it's created by the same perfumers that created the original, and it was the combination or the work of Nathalie Lorson along with drawing a blank with the other perfumer. Both of them are Firmenich perfumers, but this features notes of musk, jasmine, sambac, immortelle, cactus blossom, and pear. It seems like they've taken the kind of solar, vanillic, beachy, floral fragrance into more of a fruity direction. And I haven't tried the second version that came for this fragrance, and then also now this version. We'll see. Let me know if you're a fan of this collection. Let me know if you're a fan of the previous version that came after this, and if you're looking forward to try this super floral version. So speaking of Nathalie Lorson, we've got a new flanker for Calvin Klein's very popular Euphoria collection of fragrances for the ladies. I know they had Euphoria for the men, but I don't see a new flanker for the men. This is for the ladies. It's called My Euphoria, and this is a joint production with Nathalie Lorson along with Frank Vocal. Both of them are Firmenich perfumers, and My Euphoria features notes of oud, sandalwood, bamboo, sesame, tuberose, orchid, and blackcurrant. Wow, oud in a designer fragrance. I'm curious to try this one, even if it's targeted to the ladies. But moving on to the house of Christian Louboutin, we've got LOUBIHORSE, and a fragrance created by Christophe Reynaud, and it's vanilla, neroli, and bergamot. So this particular fragrance is in the more kind of cream tan colored bottle, whereas they had the kind of very reddish color of their bottles, and then they went dark red, very dark gothic kind of red. And then they have also a series with this kind of cream-colored bottles, and LOUBIHORSE is in that collection of fragrances. Vanilla, neroli, bergamot sounds great to me. I'm curious to try it. Always love those notes together. Then Jean-Paul Gaultier Divine. I believe this is the female answer to the Le Male Elixir, or it could be, because the bottle seems very kind of similar in design in comparison to the Elixir, Le Male Elixir, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't have notes for this one, except for the fact that I believe it's created by Quentin Biche, so we'll see how Divine is when it launches. And then last but not least, we're going to the house of Tom Ford with Azure Lime 2023. So Azure Lime was very popular. I shouldn't say very popular. It was, people spoke about it when I first got into the fragrance game in 2012. And it was out there in the original private blend collection bottles. It was shelved around 2015, 2016, or discontinued. Now they brought it back in a, green color, a citrusy collection color bottle. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I have a bottle and I rarely use it. This seems like they've done a reformulation to it, though. I hope they did, because maybe it's better than the original, because the original kind of didn't go anywhere too much. It just was lime, basically what it was. So this features notes of lime infusion, wild mint, bouchou, violet leaves, sandalwood, and oakwood. I'm hoping it's different. I'm hoping it's better than the original. We'll see how it is, but Tom Ford's Azure Lime 2023 is launching very soon as well. And that's the last fragrance I'm going to talk to you about. What do you guys think of these fragrances? These 20 new launches coming soon. I know some of them have launched already, and if you've gotten your noses on these, please do let me know what they are, how they are. Put a comment down below so I can find out. And if you haven't gotten your nose on them, which one sounds best to you? Let me know that as well. Add a comment down below. Last but not least, is there something else that's coming out that I missed? I do these videos at least once a month, maybe sometimes twice a month. And if there are any other new releases, do let me know what they are. If they're exciting, they sound great, add a comment so I can find out what they are. But either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. So the bonus fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is Tumi's Awaken. Out of the Tumi collection of men's fragrances, Awaken is one of my least favorites, but this one sounds interesting. They've done a flanker to it called Distilled. It's Awaken Distilled, and they've actually, intensified the fragrance as well and made it into an extrait de parfum. So I'm curious to try this one. It features notes of amberwood, olibanum, patchouli, mandarin, bergamot, grapefruit, coriander, cedar, lavender, clary sage, fir needle, and cypress. I hope it's much better than the original, because I don't really care for the original much more. My favorite I shouldn't say much more. I don't care for the original much at all. But my favorite from that collection is Continuum. I absolutely love it. I think it's a great designer release, and I'm hoping Awakened Distilled will be as good, if not better. But I'm not holding my breath with this one because it is a flanker of that original one, which I don't like. So we shall see if it is good or not. I'm just reporting to you guys that it is something new that should be launching very, very soon. So thanks so much for watching today. Stick around for another video tomorrow. Bye-bye.